Not many of these fans were here in 1957 when Auburn won their last national championship game. This Little League World Series, what's the best part for a 10 and 11-year-old playing in this for the first time?
The 5th-ranked Warriors have won 6 of their past 7 in this rivalry.
1957, the last year the Tigers were national champions. Oregon's never been here before.
Their freshman teams were hard at work against each other last night.
The formula for starting a great football team begins with a great leader.
Take me through that whole process, because that's got to be something that you'll always remember.
He's an inspiration to the players and coaches he's worked with the past 8 years.
Here outside the Cougars locker room, Columbus State a winner 84-62 here with the winning head coach.
People saw these guns that I have on my muscles, and they was like, they don't want any part of me.
The Alabama football team appears to have taken this a step further.
Both teams have players who live within 5 minutes of each other, and everyone hates each other so much.
Girls of Murray County who took home first place.
What brings you here to Williamsport for the Little League World Series? Yet according to head coach Gene Chizik, that's still unacceptable.
And when you do all that, it'll make my friend Big Bird pretty darn happy. For the past 7 years, the Miracle League of East Alabama has been a field of dreams for kids with disabilities. But perhaps the most telling and inspirational story comes from the league's press box, where 16-year-old Danielle Tadich sits behind the mic in her wheelchair, serving as the game's PA announcer. Something she's done the past 6 years, and something she's enjoyed every minute of.
Just the fact that these kids can do whatever they want and not be on the spot, you know? Nothing is out of place here. You know, if they want to do their own thing, if they want to play in the dirt, they can.
Yet for the energetic announcer, life hasn't always come easy. Danielle was diagnosed at birth with osteogenesis imperfecta, a disease which causes bones to break easily. Yet for this baseball fan, it hasn't stopped her from being involved in the greatest game on earth.
It's incredible. I mean, the unity around here is incredible, and the fact that it's all about the kids and serving them.
Born with a bone disease, Danielle still manages to be a part of the greatest game on earth. But she'll be the first to tell you, it's the smiles of the kids on the field that she enjoys seeing the most.
Announcing their names and seeing their face, it's worth it.
It means a lot to her because some of these kids, that's all they're here for, is to hear their name announced. Every child is here for a different reason. Some of them just want snacks, some of them just want to hit the ball, some of them want to hear their name announced. And that's, for her to see the joy on their face means everything to her.
And helping other kids change their lives for the better, something Danielle continues to do. For Alabama First News, I'm Jeremy Babin. Welcome back to Friday Football Flashback. I'm Jeremy Babin. The Kendrick Cherokees are still in search of their first win of the season, hosting a Temple team coming off their first loss. And I don't think this kid has any preference as to what's going on in the game. He's just focusing on his moonwalk sprinkle dance, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, 3:01 to go in the fourth. Here's Kendrick's LaMarcus Michaels, and someone get this kid a set of car keys because he is driving 35 yards down the field and taken down near the 10-yard line, but hey, no problem, because Cherokee's Dylan Copeland, a 15-yard pass to Jackie Harris, makes it a 20-12 Temple game, but that's all they'd get. Temple goes on and beats Kendrick 20-12. Coming off key region wins against Northview and Enterprise, Auburn High School is looking to make it 5 in a row, taking on Oxford, and talk about making good first impressions. This is the first play of the game. Oxford's Jackson Stevens locks up with Troy Elston, a 65-yard touchdown pass. This makes it a 7-0 Yellow Jackets lead, but here come the Tigers. Cameron Looper on a quarterback keeper takes it all by himself, 26 yards into the house, makes it a 7-6 Oxford game. Auburn High School wins 48-34. More games coming up a little bit later on the show. Don't go anywhere, but first, here's a look at some scores.
Well, here we are back in Williamsport, Pennsylvania for the Little League World Series, and pleased to be joined right now by Jared Fogle from Subway. Jared, a big event going on here. What brings you here to Williamsport for the Little League World Series?
Well, it's my 3rd or 4th year here with Little League and GettingMeKids.com.
And Jared, it's my understanding that you also have a history of Little League baseball experience. Of course, people know you for your Subway and for the weight that you lost, but talk about your Little League baseball experience, and that must feel even better to come back here to Williamsport.
It does. Obviously, I play Little accomplished.
I appreciate it, and that'll do it for here in South Williamsport, Pennsylvania, the site of the 2010 Little League World Series. Now it's send it back over to the studios in Columbus.
Since starting the season 4-0, Maury County's baseball team hasn't played quite to their liking, dropping some tough games. Most recently to Darlington on Friday. Last night, the Indians were back at home with a chance to get back to their winning ways, and some youngsters working on their future game. Maybe Indians of the futures, but to the Indians of the present. Top of the second, LFO up 1-0. Ryan Greason on the hill for the Indians, facing Dylan Culver, and Culver lines a base hit into left field. And then a rally going to start for the Warriors with 2 down. For the Warriors, Jordan Holland lines a double into left, and that'll put runners at second and third with 2 down. But neither would stay there very long because a pass ball would allow Culver to score. 90 feet later, it's 3-0 LFO, and some more defensive problems for the Indians. Another pass ball to make it a 4-0 game as Jordan Holland hits home. Now, how did the Indians respond in the bottom half of the second? Off Warriors starting pitcher Matt Howland, Maury County's Colton Roberts sends a deep ball into center field, scoring Taylor Patterson, and it's 4-1 Warriors. Maury County's chipping away, and now it's third baseman Jacob Pritchett. He sends a deep sack fly to center. Tyler Ellis screwing a score, and it's 4-3 LFO. More Maury County, though. Justin Shaw going to slap an RBI single into right field, scoring Colton Roberts, and that ties things up at 4 apiece. Brand new ball game, but the Indians would give up 11 unanswered runs. They lose 15-4. Now, follow me on this. Back on February 18th, Northwest hosted Lafayette in soccer and won fairly easily 4-1. Since that time, Northwest lost both crosstown rivals Southeast and Dalton, trumping them all. Southeast defeated Dalton in the first season meeting back in a shootout. Now back to the present, the Raiders traveled to play Lafayette last night. Some Ramblers who lost to the Bruins by 3 goals on the last time around. Let's head out there right now and see what happened. This Lafayette team, not the same team that went down to the Raiders, but they were all they could handle, mostly in thanks to their goalkeeper, Carson Arnold, who was unconscious in the first half. Noel Pittman with a near header there for Southeast, and then Arnold. Let the Arnold show begin. Thomas Cruz's header, Arnold with a stop. Later in the first half, Carlos Ojeda with a strike. Arnold laying out in full extension to deny it. Now under 12 minutes to play in the first, still scoreless. Carlos fires another, and Carson Arnold lets it be known this is our house. An amazing first half for Arnold and Lafayette. Now with under 10 minutes to play, still scoreless, and Tony Garcia is going to fire a prayer. And this shot is way outside the box. And this, my friends, is a ridiculous shot. It is good. 1-0 Ramblers. However, the Raiders fought back in the second half to avoid the upset. Southeast a winner, 2-1. Not so victorious Georgia Tech baseball rained out.
It's certain things like running, talking with friends, and living a normal life that most people take for granted. Not Beauregard senior Zach Sally, who 17 years ago was diagnosed with cancer.
They told my parents when they discovered it that there were no survivors known of this type of cancer, maybe one. And so my parents, they felt the peace. They just tried to keep faith in God and follow through, do the best they could to serve Him along with this.
But that was far from easy. The doctors told Zach's parents he had 12 to 14 months to live. Words that hit the Sallys like a ton of bricks.
I will never forget sitting in that conference room, holding my baby, and hearing those doctors say there was no hope. I felt such pain in my chest. I felt like my heart was just breaking in two, and I didn't know that heartbreak could be a physical pain.
And then just when it looked like the Sallys had experienced everything, Leah found out she was pregnant with her 3rd child, 2 months into Zach's treatment. Then looking for some help, she found an angel, and of all places, the hospital elevator. One
of the nurses was with us on the elevator, and then there were 2 men in the elevator as well. Men that we did not know them. They were strangers. And one of the men had laid hands on Zachary and had just had his hand on Zachary's sweet little bald head and was praying for him and was praying for God to heal him.
Words that at the time might have seemed like just a nice gesture actually marked the beginning of Zach's recovery, as he suddenly started to regain his weight and good health back. And then, the boy who was given little chance at life began living his life to the fullest, both as a straight-A student and a track star.
Times I remember, whenever I feel like things are getting tough, whether it be in school or just certain times in life, I can think back to that and remember, hey, there's a plan for me here. I'm here for a reason.
When you look at him, what goes through your mind?
How did we get here? I just look at him and well up with tears because I'm overwhelmed.
And as Zach continues his journey through life, his mother continues to enjoy watching what he brings to the world he was so close to leaving 17 years ago.
We truly see his life as a gift.
A gift they're still living one day at a time. For WLTZ NBC 38 News, I'm Jeremy Babin.